We are back on the Plus Money Podcast, your home for the best soccer bets in 15 minutes or less. It is a midweek game week with the Premier League, 10 games, including a sneaky good matchup between Aston Villa and Newcastle before a preview of the Carabao Cup final when Liverpool take on Chelsea at Anfield. I'm Andrew Passaro. He's Ani Sridhar. You can follow us as always at Andrew Passaro, at Ani323, at the Plus Money Pod. Up and down weekend. FA Cup was, I don't know, boring, kind of. No fun, exciting matchups. Maidstone United not getting anybody fun and interesting. Liverpool should continue to roll through this one. Chelsea will have a replay at Aston Villa, which will be an interesting one. And the Super Bowl is set. Ani, how are you feeling? What's going on?
I'm a little disappointed, a little upset for my friends in Maryland that the Ravens lost to the Chiefs yesterday. So now we get a 2 week buildup of Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl, which is totally fine. I honestly think the Chiefs deserve to win. The gauntlet that they went through to get to the Super Bowl, they deserve it. So excited for the NFL season to come to an end so we can fully invest our time, energy, and bankroll into betting on the football that we will finish the season with because Champions League's going to ramp right back up. So I'm looking forward to it.
Two quick anecdotes, NFL rise. One, very bummed for the Ravens because I would have gone to the Super Bowl. The girlfriend's family, diehard Ravens fans. There was a ticket for me to go to Vegas for my first time to go to a Super Bowl. Would have been pretty sick. Would have been pretty sick. We move on. Patrick Mahomes, moneyline underdog in the Super Bowl. You kind of have to take it. I got it last night plus 116. I know we're going to start talking soccer, European football, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm just saying
I took it
there are
last year
certain,
and it worked out because they were
yeah,
underdogs to the Eagles last year and it worked
right.
out.
There are
I
certain
might,
teams,
I might
there are
not bet
certain
a
teams
line
you
this game.
can't,
I don't
you
know.
can't, you, there are certain teams you just, if they're money line, you have to take them. And Patrick Mahomes with the Chiefs. All right, moving on. Fulham taking on Everton to kick off our Tuesday slate. Fulham money line plus 145. They haven't lost in 5 matches in all comps to Everton. There is a draw and a penalty win in a cup game in those 5 games. But I still like the number here. Fulham are missing a couple pieces over at AFCON, as is Everton. I look, Fulham at home. They haven't played. They've played well, haven't gotten results of late. I think this is where they kind of break through. Fulham team total over 1.5 as well as plus 134. I'm leaning more on the money line, but there's value if you're concerned that this could be some kind of crazy 2-2 draw. There's good value on the board for Fulham. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, it's funny you said two draw a crazy game. I like the over 2.5. I think it's a pretty solid number. You could tack on the both teams to score here. Defensively, they're not two good units. We just saw Everton lose to Luton at home in the midweek in the FA Cup, which is kind of and conceded 2 goals, I'm pretty sure, right? 2-0 loss, Everton. So I think there's going to be goals in this game. We talked about the Fulham attack a couple of weeks ago, and they were just rolling, 4 goals in almost every single game. I think they get back into form here in this contest, and I like the over.
You spoke about Luton. They're taking on Brighton at home. Uh, I've said it before. We could be seeing more punishments coming down the line here for Premier League clubs with point totals. Luton are, of the 3 teams in the bottom, they are on top. Do they have a chance against Brighton in the middle of the week?
I think they could come away with the result. I don't know if they're going to win this game, but I could see them fight. Again, I could see a 2-2 draw on the cards here, which is why I like the both teams to score on the over 2.5 in this contest, too. We saw Luton go. I was worried about Luton's form on the road because we've seen how well they can play at home. They took Arsenal to the brink. They've had some great results. I think, and Brighton, not that great defensively. They're also suffering from injuries. It is nice that they have Purvis Estupiñán back, though, probably arguably their best player, to be honest. When they have a healthy 11, him and Matoma. Pedro's just kind of in a pen merchant. So if they don't get a penalty in this game, I think Luton might be able to pull away with the result. But I do like goals in this one too.
I will say João Pedro, yes, scores a lot of pens, but he's scoring goals everywhere.
Yeah.
Very good efficient signing for them. I would say if his anytime goal scorer number is over plus 175, I think that's playable in this type of game. But we've seen these games at Luton kind of be a little cagey. Let's jump to Aston Villa taking on Newcastle. Aston Villa sitting minus 115 money line. Villa over 1.5, which I do like a little more, is plus 105. And the over 2.5, Villa over 2.5 is plus 145. And I don't hate Villa and both teams to score at plus 200. I did some research. They've played 15 home games in all comps this season. That's hitting 8 of them, but they've played 10 EPL games at home, and that is hitting 6 of them. We've seen Newcastle be in games. They've been scoring goals. Again, haven't gotten it over the line. Aston Villa have made Villa Park a fortress this season. Only the one draw. I think they have one loss in like a cup competition and one draw in the Premier League, which was weirdly to Sheffield. But they win at Villa Park. I do think that Newcastle can get on the board here. So I really don't hate Villa and both teams score plus 200. I'm not sure what we're gonna get from Newcastle. Miguel Almiron could be getting sold here in the next couple of hours, so I wouldn't expect to see him play in this one. I do expect this to be a decent game, but I'm not sure exactly what happens when I lean Villa.
I have Villa money line minus 115 as well, but I don't know if it's going to be a full unit bet. Little hesitant. They've kind of burned me, honestly, the last like 3, 4 times I've bet Villa or bet in a game that Villa's been playing in, like in the midweek with Chelsea, where I thought it was going to be goals galore, but that did not happen. Boring 0-0 draw. Uh, Pretty solid performance from Emi Martinez, which is why I'm a little hesitant on the both teams to score. It is juiced to minus 205, so the books definitely think that both teams are going to get on the scoreboard here, but Martinez is kind of rounding into that stupid, annoying form that he gets in almost every year. I can't stand the guy, but I gotta respect that he's just a pretty, not pretty, but very good goalkeeper, probably top 4 in the Prem. Um, Ederson, Allison, Vicario, and Martinez,
I
probably
think, yeah,
the
I
4
think
best
if we did
keepers
a
in the
Mount
Prem.
Rushmore, I
So
think if we did a Mount Rushmore of Premier League goalkeepers, that's probably where I'd come out
yeah,
to.
so annoying. So that's why I'm a little hesitant on the both teams to score, and but I do like Villa money line here at home.
Yeah. Here's the thing. We need to remember this. Never bet Villa on the road. Always bet Villa at home. It's like we need to it's one of many rules that we need to establish for this podcast that we haven't, but it is what it is. All right, let's move over. It's the big one to Wednesday. Liverpool taking on Chelsea. Um, Obviously massive news came out this week, and I know we're a betting podcast, but I'm not gonna not speak about this briefly. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp coming out to and I'll find a betting angle for you guys. Don't worry, I always find a betting angle for you guys. Klopp coming out announcing he is leaving the club at the end of the season, citing exhaustion. So I do want to say real quick, if you're a Barcelona fan, he's not coming to Barcelona. If you're an AC Milan fan, he's not coming to AC Milan. The dude has been working his ass off for 2 decades, taking on gigantic clubs in Bayern Munich when he was at Dortmund, Manchester City, and others when he was here in the Premier League. He's not going to a club team where there's a massive task on his hand. His son just had a kid. He is now a grandfather. He's been working really hard, and it's crazy looking at the pictures of him coming in 2015 and looking at him now.
The
Like
video montages are pretty crazy. Yeah.
you look at it's like you see it's like remember what Obama looked like on day 1 in office and then
Yeah,
day 8 in
crazy,
office,
just
and he was
crazy.
like totally gray, and it's like, dude, you're not that old. It's the same thing with Klopp. Um I
I could see him take a year or two off and
Yeah,
then international. I could see him coaching Germany's international squad. I really could. I think
that's where
could be where it's
that's where
going before the
I
World
think that's
Cup.
what
Yeah.
happens. I think that's what happens.
Yeah.
He takes over kind of maybe after the Euros at some point and gets them for the 26 World Cup, which would be exciting. um I'm As a Liverpool fan, like we've seen historically, maybe not me, we've seen major managers leave and the team didn't miss a beat. Obviously, Shankly led to Paisley, and Paisley won way more than Shankly did back in the day. Um, he did leave the club in a great spot. They're in an opportunity where, yes, they need to lock down Van Dijk, Salah, maybe, and Trent, but there's still a ton of pieces here. So no matter who they bring in, this team is well equipped to continue to compete. And I do think this is proper motivation to tell the players like, hey, we got one more shot here. Let's try to bring the Premier League home. I did throw in on a ticket. I got Liverpool plus 250 to win the Premier League. It's down to plus 230 on FanDuel. I don't hate the number. I think now is as good a time as any to put that ticket in. I've had Europa League. It's probably an awful number because they're probably the best team, them and Bayer Leverkusen. There are certain books I think that are letting you in certain states bet on Liverpool to win a quadruple. I wouldn't do that. I think that's impossible personally. Um, but if there's one thing I'm going to miss from Jurgen Klopp, it's that at any point, no matter who was out, you believed we could win the game, and you were going to do it playing exciting football, and that's kind of what I'm worried about the most. Like you might bring in another manager and maybe it'll be more of like the Mourinho, even Rafa Benitez at time of like tactical grind out a 1 or 2 nil game, and that's just not the way I've seen Liverpool play football for the last 9 years. And like I want to win trophies, but I want to see them play an exciting way, and I want to have that belief that like we beat Barcelona 4-0. You didn't have Roberto Firmino and you didn't have Mo Salah that night. Like that's when you say that out loud, that's absurd that that happened. But let's get into this one. Liverpool take on Chelsea. The last time a team has won this game in regulation, not in a shootout, was Chelsea in 2021. The draw is plus 350 here, which at that number, I kind of think you have to sprinkle it because Liverpool have not beaten any of the traditional Big Six teams this season. They lost to Tottenham. They drew Man City away, drew Arsenal at home, drew Man United at home, drew Chelsea at the beginning of the season. Is that everybody? I think that's everybody. Yeah. So they haven't won one of these games yet. And Chelsea have played well in all of these games for the most part. Obviously,
Also,
they
a lot of draws.
also a lot of draws. So I wouldn't be shocked here if this is a draw and at plus 350. You got to sprinkle it. It's the same thing we said with Tottenham in the last week against Manchester City, and you almost got the draw against Manchester City. I don't hate Liverpool team total over 2.5 plus 154. They've been absolutely cooking at home. I know Mo Salah's not back. I don't care. Darwin Núñez is playing the best soccer he's ever played for Liverpool. Diogo Jota looks insane. Luis Diaz on form. They're getting healthier in the midfield. Trent Alexander-Arnold's back. Szoboszlai's back. Andy Robertson played 30 minutes in the midweek. This team is humming, and you said it on the podcast last week that at any point there's a chance that Chelsea's defense are going to make a massive mistake. And Anfield's going to be crazy. It's the first Premier League game since the announcement. And a parlay of like over 9.5 corners, 25 or more shots in the game, over 1.5 goals. Darwin Núñez shot on target plus 171. That's those are my picks.
I've got a pretty simple parlay. It's the over 2.5 parlayed with Liverpool money line at minus 102. Chelsea's not winning this game. The atmosphere is going to be buzzing. It's like you said, Klopp's first home game after announcing the news. It's the extended Anfield. I don't care that Salah's out. Like you said, the three strikers up top have just been playing really well recently. I would love if Chelsea came away with this game with a draw. That would be sick. So maybe sprinkle some on that because plus 350 is a really nice number. But Liverpool's winning this game. It's a four. I don't even care. I'm obviously gonna watch, but like I'm ready to be disappointed. Like it's yeah.
Hey, we said the same thing about Man United when they came to Anfield, but I don't know how Poch is gonna approach this one tactically. I'm very interested, and
Chelsea also banged up, so it's
Yeah,
not like they're going in with the like. Don't know if Nkunku's going to be able to go. Nico Jackson's still on international duty. Armando Broja's been underwhelming, so they're not really playing with a striker. They're kind of playing. It's just like Cole Palmer kind of like as a false nine. It's not. They're not scoring. They're back to not scoring goals. So yeah, this is going to be a disaster.
All right, let's jump to a fun one on Thursday. There's two games that I really like for Thursday. Wolves taking on Man United. I'm going to the Asian line, okay? And I'm gonna have a quick PSA for people who don't understand how to bet the Asian line. I didn't understand it until I read an article from the Action Network 2 weeks ago, and now I think I got it. So we're gonna take the over 2.75 goals at minus 120. So basically, what you're doing, let's say you bet $10, you have a regular $10 unit. What you are essentially doing is putting $5 on over 2.5 and $5 on over 3. And they're giving you both of those at minus 120. So if there's three, if it's a 2-1 game, you're gonna hit on the over 2.5, and you're gonna push on the 3. and you're gonna win the half unit bet and get the other half unit back. So you'll still profit. It's basically insurance, which in a low scoring sport like soccer, or I mean, hockey is still pretty high scoring, but even still, this really exists in soccer and in hockey, not really in the NBA or in the NFL. So it's a little different. But yes, I think there's going to be goals in this one. Wolves have been playing well. Man United got into got into a shootout with a second division club in the FA Cup. Um, I really want to take Wolves, but the number's not there for me, even though it's at home. Man United have a good record against Wolves, but I will not be taking Wolves. What do you like in this one?
Yeah, I'm going back to one of my old faithful bets when it comes to betting Manchester United, and that's the corners. I'm taking the over 10 corners at minus 105. United's top four in the league in most corners per game, and both teams are bottom half in corners conceded at 5.9 and 5.3. So that adds up to more than 10. So if we like if there's going to be goals, I think there's going to be corners. It's going to be fast paced. Pedro Neto back for Wolves. So they like to attack from that right wing a lot. We saw that in the last game Wolves were in with Pedro just serving in corners from that right side, leading the corners. So I like the corners a lot.
I don't know if he still leads the Premier League in assists because he was out for so long, but there was like a good portion of the season where he
He
had the
was he
most.
was leader before he went down. Yeah.
He has fallen behind, but not by much. Only Ollie Watkins and Mo Salah are in front of him, but um, and this article that I'm reading is not current, so who knows? He's up there. Uh, I'm going to West Ham and Bournemouth. I like the over 3.5 here at plus 164. It's hitting 4 out of the last 5 Bournemouth matches. West Ham kind of missing some key players. Obviously, Kudus is not there, so this could be a 2-1 game. And I do like Dom Solanke, anytime goal scorer, plus 175. He
He's
has
been
a
on
ton
fire.
of goals in the
Yeah.
Premier League this season, and the fact that you can get it that high, West Ham's defense is nothing crazy. So I love that number. My parlay for the midweek stretches over Tuesday and Wednesday. Brighton money line at Luton. I like Arsenal money line at Nottingham Forest. Manchester City and over 2.5 at home against Burnley, plus 220. That's it. No, nothing crazy. I know there's AFCON. Be careful with AFCON. Be careful with the Asia Cup.
Touching
So
Afcon, not touching Asia Cup. Yeah.
it's all over the place. We'll be back for the weekend. Liverpool Arsenal at Arsenal on Sunday. So no rest. No rest for the weekend. All right, guys, let's try to stay positive. Best of luck this week. Follow us at Angel Passaro at Ani Sridhar 23 at the Plus Money Pod. Like, review, subscribe, follow, subscribe on YouTube, please. And we'll catch you later in the week.